The Fort Worth Police Department confirmed that the frightening incident involving Robert Griffin III and his family unfolded late, Friday morning at approximately 11:48 a.m. CT. According to their initial report, the crash involved a total of 4 vehicles on a busy stretch of highway in Fort Worth, Texas. Officers were dispatched immediately after emergency calls were made, and when they arrived on scene, they found 3 of the vehicles still there, visibly damaged from the chain reaction of collisions. However, one of the vehicles that had been involved had already left the scene before police arrived, something that investigators will now have to look into further. Police released a statement confirming that medical personnel were called out swiftly, and that at least one occupant had been taken to a nearby hospital with injuries that had not yet been fully assessed or disclosed. Their official line was that, "This accident is being investigated," leaving many questions still unanswered as to exactly what led to the terrifying incident. Just minutes later, as news began to circulate online, Greta Griffin, the wife of Robert Griffin III, provided an update via her Instagram story to reassure the flood of concerned friends, family, and fans who were hearing about the wreck. Her message, while calm and measured, carried the weight of what had just happened. She revealed that she had struck her head during the accident and would need a CT scan to make sure there was no serious injury. She also mentioned that Robert's back was in pain and was being checked out by medical professionals. The words provided some relief in knowing they were conscious and responsive, but they also underscored the seriousness of the crash. Yet in the middle of all that anxiety, Greta managed to convey the most important piece of news: the kiddos are all well and healthy. For parents, that sentence carried the greatest relief, reminding everyone that despite the chaos, the children had been spared from harm. Robert Griffin III, better known to fans as RGYC, later confirmed details on his own X, formerly Twitter account, where his message immediately caught fire. The former NFL star, who had once been the face of a franchise and who still commands a large following, described the ordeal with a mix of raw fear and gratitude. "Just got in the worst car accident of our lives with my wife and kids in Fort Worth, Texas," he wrote. "Scary crash, ricocheted off the highway divider multiple times, blown both front tires. Thankful to God that my wife and kids are safe." His words painted a vivid picture of what had unfolded in those terrifying seconds on the highway. The vehicle spinning, tires bursting, metal scraping against concrete barriers. It was the kind of scene that could have ended very differently, yet somehow they had all walked away. The context of the accident made it even more surreal. Griffin and his family were in Fort Worth because he was preparing to serve as a color commentator for Fox during the highly anticipated TCU versus Colorado College football game scheduled for the weekend. Griffin has carved out a successful career in broadcasting following his playing days, and this was another major event on his schedule. Hours before the crash, his wife had actually posted on social media about how happy she and the kids were to be traveling alongside him for work. "Love when Robert has games close by so we can travel with him," Greta wrote in the caption of a picture taken from inside their Mercedes-Benz Sprinter. It was a simple, warm family moment that now feels almost haunting in contrast with what came just a short time later. One second, they were smiling and enjoying the convenience of being together. The next, they were fighting through one of the scariest moments of their lives. Griffin's alma mater, Baylor University, quickly posted a supportive message on X, showing just how deeply loved he remains in the football community. "Sending prayers," the official Baylor Bears football account wrote. "And glad everyone is okay." Fans flooded social media with similar sentiments, from former teammates to broadcasters to everyday supporters who had followed his journey from his college glory days to his NFL career and now into broadcasting. The outpouring of concern reflected just how close the situation had come to being tragic. When a beloved figure like RGWS posts about ricocheting off a highway divider multiple times, it brings into sharp focus how fragile life can be, even for public figures who often appear larger than life. To fully understand why this story hit so hard, it helps to look back at Robert Griffin III's history. He isn't just any former NFL player. He is a figure whose career arc has been filled with dramatic highs and devastating lows, and whose resilience has often been tested. Griffin first rose to national prominence during his collegiate days at Baylor, where he became one of the most electrifying quarterbacks the game had ever seen. In 2011, he won the Heisman Trophy, a historic achievement for the program and for himself. He was known for his blazing speed, strong arm, and charismatic presence both on and off the field. Drafted second overall by the Washington Redskins, now the Washington Commanders, in 2012, he immediately made an impact, becoming the NFL Offensive Rookie of the Year and leading his team to the playoffs. But injuries, coaching conflicts, and other setbacks derailed what looked to be a Hall of Fame trajectory. Still, through all of it, RGIC never stopped fighting, and in many ways, his second act as a broadcaster has brought him renewed respect and admiration. That's why Friday's accident struck such a chord. For a man who has endured so much on the field, this latest trial was happening in his personal life, with his wife and children right there beside him. The terrifying image of their family vehicle smashing into dividers and blowing out tires while the kids were in the back is the stuff of every parent's nightmare. The Mercedes-Benz Sprinter, a vehicle chosen specifically for its size, comfort, and safety for family travel, suddenly became a steel cage spinning out of control on a Texas highway. Yet, despite the chaos, the outcome was not fatal. And that miracle was not lost on RGC, whose faith has always been a visible part of his identity. His immediate message thanking God for his family's safety wasn't just a throwaway line. It was the most sincere reflection of what he must have felt in those fragile minutes after the vehicle came to a stop. The Fort Worth Police Department will continue investigating what exactly led to the crash. Was it driver error, mechanical failure, another reckless vehicle, or a mix of multiple factors? That remains to be seen. The detail that one of the vehicles fled the scene could complicate matters and raises more questions about responsibility. Leaving the site of a major accident is a serious offense, and investigators will likely be combing through traffic cameras and witness statements to identify the driver. As for the Griffins, their focus in the immediate aftermath is recovery, both physical and emotional. Car accidents, even when survivors walk away relatively unharmed, can leave deep psychological scars. The suddenness, the sound of metal crunching, the smell of burning rubber, the helplessness as a vehicle spins. Those sensations often linger long after the bruises fade. For Greta, the decision to go in for a CT scan is a necessary precaution. Head injuries can be deceptive, with symptoms sometimes not showing up until hours or days later. For Robert, back pain can also be concerning, especially given his history as an athlete where spinal and muscular health is critical. For the children, the relief that they escaped without injury doesn't erase the fear they must have felt. Parents know that kids are often more emotionally shaken than they can articulate in the moment. It may take time for them to fully process what happened, especially since the crash wasn't just a minor fender bender, but a violent ricochet off a concrete divider at highway speeds.